Data Analytics Summit. So we thank you for staying tuned so far and for your engagement as well. So we want to listen to our last speaker for today in this particular summit, the person of Mr. Harrison Yakubu. Mr. Harrison Yakubu is a go-to AI transformation partner with over a decade of experience being a business and technical leader. He's also a leader in data science, a leader in data analytics, artificial intelligence, AI, digital innovation, strategy, sustainability, e-tech, fintech, and AI for business and social good. He is the CEO of Resolutics and Australia Hub and the founder of Data Science Club. He's currently the leader in data analytics team at MedPlus Pharmacy, Nigeria. So please share your favorite emoji in welcoming Mr. Harrison Yakubu as you take on the stage. Mr. Harrison, you are highly welcome, sir.
All right, thank you very much for bringing me up onto this platform. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, I want to be sure everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, please, an emoji, a chat in the chat box, or something. Just make me know that you can hear me, and then we can pick it up from there. Hello, please, if you are there, please signify, drop a chat. All right, thank you. Uh, I want to be sure it's not only Abraham and Olalekan that's here. We have about 14 people, so let's have everybody, try to drop something. I just want to be sure everybody's carried along. All right, thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much for having me on the call. Just so you know, I like to put this as a disclaimer. So basically, you've read my profile, and my profile says almost everything about me. Currently lead teams here and there, founder of Data Science Club, founder of Rastralis Hub, and of course the CEO of Resolutics. Now, Resolutics is an edtech and business analytics platform that's with special interest in data science, artificial intelligence, robotics process automation. Right, so we help businesses digitize their platforms, and then of course optimize their business processes, or we also teach tech skills in Resolutics. While I lead a team of analytics professionals within MedPlus Pharmacy, I want to be sure you guys, a lot of people know MedPlus Pharmacy in Nigeria. So please, you would pardon me because I'm at the office today. I'm usually not at the office on Fridays, but for a couple of reasons, I'm at the office today. I had a hospital session this morning. Um, I had a hospital session this morning. I had a hospital session this morning, and I had a class where we trained guys from Canada and the US over the night. So it's been quite a hectic week for me, right? And the doctor said I should just go and rest, but of course, just before I would say Jack Robinson, I got another call this morning to remind me of my engagement today. So I was supposed to come up with a slide. All this I'm saying is because of the reasons. It's just the reason why I didn't come up with a slide. I was supposed to come up with a slide for this presentation, but because I took my laptop to the hospital to try to create my slide, but before you know, they beckoned on me to come in for my test. I had to run some tests and all of that. I'm still waiting for the results. Anyways, once again, thank you so much for having me on the call. I remain Harrison Yakubu. All right, so basically, I'm talking about the skill sets that is needed uh, I'm supposed to talk about the skill sets and certifications that are needed in the data analytics space. What I love to call it, basically, because of my experience and how I perceive the data industry. I don't just call it data analytics; I call it data management because basically, data analytics is preferring an end-to-end solution from data collection to from data collection to ETL. ETL is extract, transform, and load, right? To data crunching and of course to analytics, right? So basically, the skill set is all encompassing. So of course, I'm sure someone has come on the call to probably talk about the different skill sets that are needed in data space. So we have a database engineer that has built a database upon which before I go into the certification, let me quickly walk you through what it is like to build an end-to-end solution in data science or in data analytics, right? So chances are, prior to a data professional, a data analytics professional, or data science professional interacting with a business data set, right? One of the things you want to check, for example, it would be how the company currently or usually collects their data, right? So from knowing how they collect their data, so basically there are different ways companies collect data. For banks, for example, for banks, retail institutions, and the likes, most times they use ERP, what is known as enterprise resource planning, right? That enterprise resource planning stores whenever data is being transferred through that system, it is stored in an RDBMS, a relational database management system. And there's only one way to communicate with the relational database management system, and that way is through a programming or a language called SQL, which is structured query language. And as I love to say it, right, SQL is not a programming language, it's a query language because you use it to query an RDBMS, a relational database management system. I want to be sure we are taking notes, right? Because these are keywords within the data space. Relational. So let me go through it again. Data comes from, most times, depending on which company you're talking to or which business you're talking to. For the banks, you hear things like is it one bank? You hear things like uh, different types of ERP. I don't know why they keep skipping. Maybe because I just joined this call impromptu. So those names are skipping my mind right now. So, for retail systems, you're hearing things like Odoo, you're hearing things like uh, 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 ICG, different types of ERPs basically. So basically, data comes through an ERP, is stored in an RDBMS, right? Your RDBMS could be a Microsoft SQL server, could be a MongoDB, could be a MySQL server. So basically, it's stored in a server, and that server houses the database. And the database is what is known as an RDBMS. And for you to talk to that database, you need the knowledge or the skill set in SQL. So basically, SQL transcend works. For you to be a data professional, you need to actually understand SQL. So basically, SQL is used for all the skill sets, whether you're a data analyst, a data scientist, a data. So whether you're a data scientist, a data analyst, a data, whatever space you find yourself, right? SQL is your go-to tool, basically, right? So SQL is one skill set you don't want to joke with, right? Because, like I said earlier, most organizations store their information in RDBMS. And why do they do this, right? Because that's basically, they could have actually just say, "Oh, let's store it in an Excel file," but because of how organizations are structured, in order for you, for example, in order for you to make a business sense, for let me give you a simple example. Let's say I want to see which of my staff performs best based off the kind of the number of customers that they attend to or they bring in. The only way I can do that is to talk to the database in such a way that it collects a little bit of data from a table that stores staff information, right? Which is most likely the HR table, the HR database or data sets, right? And then, of course, from that table, it has to be linked to using primary key and foreign keys, right? It has to be linked to another table, right? That is either another table that is maybe an operations table. Now, an operations table will be heavily dependent on what kind of organization you're talking to. For example, if it's a bank, we want to be like, so the customers that this person brings in, what's the volume of transaction that this person carries out, and what is the value of transaction, right? So basically, you want, of course, you want to be able to see, you want the database to be able to connect. Sorry, the as an analyst, you want to query that database in such a way that you can talk to both the HR table, the operations table, and then of course, let's say of course the finance table, or the, yeah, of course, where the numbers sit, right? So basically, or module as the case may be. So these modules are what in turn become stable, right? Basically, that's how an ERP works. So for us to talk to a database properly, you need structured query language to be able to talk to this kind of RDBMS. That's why. So what I've just explained is the reason why companies will not settle for just using an Excel table, an Excel sheet to just store data, but will rely heavily on an RDBMS. And of course, that's why as a data professional, SQL is your number one go-to tool. Now, depending on what level, what role you're going to be playing, you want to be taking certifications in things like, of course. So for those who want to be data engineers, there are certifications. You go if you want to get heavily to understand basically how these things, the kind of different kind of certifications that you have, you might want to check sites like exam topics. Please take notes of that, exam topics, right? Or you want to check sites like, for example, for those that are Microsoft inclined, you might want to check like Microsoft Learn. On Microsoft Learn, you have a list of all their courses from DP 900 to AZ 100 to different. So AZ 100, for example, could be like Azure Data Science certification. You can have like Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, which is one of the association I belong to, right? Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate, or you can become, and with that, you can become an MCT, a Microsoft Certified Trainer, or a Microsoft Valuable Professional, basically, right? So these are different certifications around Microsoft. AWS also has there's GCP, which is AWS, which is owned by Amazon also has that have theirs, which is Amazon Web Services, and then of course we now have certifications coming also from GCP, that's Google Cloud Platform. Please, I want to be sure everybody's following before I continue. If you're following and this has developed value so far, please give a thumbs up and then we can continue from there. Hello, are we still there? All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, I love the engagement. I want the energy to be live so that I also can feel that I'm delivering value to everyone, right? So that being said, understanding these concepts, right? We now go into what I would call. So I've told you the end to end. I've told you one thing that happens at at as a data professional, right? So a database, you talk to a database, an SQL database that has collected information through an ERP. I hope that is clear, right? Now you want to build a solution. So there are different ways. So if it's a one-time solution, you can pull it into your, for example, if you're using Power BI or Tableau, you want to now pull it into your Power BI through SQL and API. Yeah, so there's a programming interface on Power BI that you can use to spool an SQL query. You can use to spool data from an SQL database using an SQL query, right? Now, a data engineer most likely builds the pipeline between the database or the server, as the case may be, of course, and of course, the database and your reporting system. So that's there's an ETL process that happens there. ETL, like I said, means extract, transform, and load. So think of ETL like saying you want to prepare a meal, right? So the first things first, you want to collect the condiments, the food condiments, right? You want to collect all of those things, right? And prepare. So when you collect them, that's your data collection, right? That's when you query the data. Now, once you've done that, which is extract data, right? When you've done that, you have to transform the feel and the look of these condiments. So, for example, the raw rice has to turn to boiled rice and things like that. So, basically, you have to add different sauces, different, and make it palatable. Right? That is the transformation process, which is known as data cleaning, data handling, as the case may be. And data. So, what happens at that level? Data cleaning, data handling, data modeling, things that happen at that level. right? And most likely, a data engineer puts that. So the skill set we look at things like Apache Spark, Python, doing CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous development, right? So that's what we call MLOps, right? In the space of data, it's MLOps. In the space of software development, it's called DevOps, right? Or so we also have ML, right, which is ML, machine learning security and operation, right? So basically, you want to build that pipeline and, of course, a gateway to the database. So there's a gateway and a pipeline, right, that fits that you with the information that comes from the SQL. Pardon me. I think my network was acting up for a bit. All right, I think it acted up for a bit, but are we on track now? Can you guys hear me now so we can continue?
We are hearing you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. So basically, when you like I was trying to explain, once it is extracted, right? So like I was trying to explain the skill set that is needed at that level. SQL, of course. Remember, I talked about SQL at the database management level. So the database manager or database designer, what it does is to create an RDBMS in such a way that it is smart. And for example, when you carry out a transaction, it is swift, it is automated, and all of that. That's what the database manager, database engineer, database. So at that level, we have database managers, database engineers, database administrators, database designers, right? All of these guys handle different skill set. The administrator, of course, handle the admin aspect and all of that, right? Who gets what permission, grants permission. You can actually delete. You can create a table. You can drop down the table and all of that. Or you can drop the database. You can create the database. That's basically what the database administrator does. Database designer designs the schema. What is it? Star schema, and all of those schemas, boss schemas, and likes that you can use to create the database. The database engineer now writes the logic, right? The SQL queries to actually put all of these designs into action. So let me go over it again. Database designer designs uh, how it looks, the looks and feel, what table needs to talk to what table, which key needs to talk to what, so which table has a primary key, which table has a secondary key. So basically, it is always advised that you take up a professional course to basically understand all of these things that I'm saying on a logical level, right? On a logical level. What I'm just trying to do is just a typical overview to see how it looks and what it typically entails, so you can have a mental picture of what it actually typically entails, right? So, but basically, you probably need to take professional courses because the skill set of a data administrator, database administrator, is different from the skill set of a database engineer. It's different from the skill set of a database designer, right? Like I said, database designer designs the schema, right? While the database engineer makes that schema comes to life, creates the actual database and all of that, right? While the administrator grants permission and all of that. Yeah, and there are different certifications and like I said earlier, as Microsoft adds their suites of certification, AWS, so also AWS and GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, which is Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Platform, and all other services, all other databases like MongoDB and the likes, right? All of them have their own suites of certification. So you might want to check them online, like I said, like I gave earlier. You go on exam topics, type whichever of these skill sets, whichever of these tools you want to use. You can just type the name of that tool on exam topic on the search bar to bring out all of the lists of tools you can use or skill sets or certifications and which certifications are tools. So that's that on that level. Moving forward, like I said, is the database engineer that creates the pipeline and creates an ETL process, creates the pipeline, creates the ETL process, and creates the gateway. Like I mentioned earlier, Apache Spark, Python, also SQL, and understanding the process of CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous development, as right, creates that process, and that's or engineer. Also, just like they have for database managers and database engineers and administrators, right? The same way of applications for all of these guys. Like I said, you always, so at some point, what I usually say is when you get to that roadblock, as regards what you want to do, speak to it as quick as possible. The mentor has been there. I think the weaknesses. I think you should work on it more. So, really don't know what I'm doing with of this internet today. Really hope it takes. Of course, it's going to take me through the session. I might just be fluctuating here and there, but I'm sure our IT guys are doing a great job. Right. So that's that about the data engineer. Forward a little is whom we know who is known as a data analyst, right, or a BI, depending on what role you're playing. You could play the role of a data analyst, a BI analyst, and all of that. So what you want to do is to connect that ETL process to a dashboard that you will create, right? And then, of course, that's where you can begin to carry out your analytical skills, tools, and all of that. So you carry out your analytical processes. So you want to be checking things like, oh, of course, you want to be seeing, is it, if it's customer, for example, customer analytics you're carrying out, you want to be looking at the recency, frequency, and monetary value of each customer, right? You want to be looking at your churn rate, your retention rate, your retention, customer retention rate, customer churn rate, customer things like uh, maybe also optimizing the retention strategy. But this is, of course, going to be informed by your analytical processes. All right. So, suites of certification, MCDA, like I said, same suite of there are several suites of certifications as regards being either a data analyst, a BI analyst, or a data scientist. So, forward a little is can you guys hear me now, please? All right. Thank you, Abraham. So, yeah. Uh, thank you, guys. So I like the energy, and like I said, I don't know why this stuff is acting up. Our internet is acting up today. It's usually in a good condition, but pardon me if you see it go off and on. Like I said earlier, I'm currently using the office Wi-Fi. So basically, that's all about that about the data analyst. So the data analyst, their certifications, Microsoft Certified Data Analyst Associate. You can do also that's of course my certification on being analyst using Power BI, Microsoft Power BI. Certifications on Tableau, your certifications on platforms, right? So you might also want to like example all of these things, right? Different suites of certification. And the next level I want to be looking at is, and of course, the skill set you need at this point is critical thinking, you need analytics, analytics skill set, you need to understand statistics, you need to understand how measurement of central tendency, different central tendencies affect business and help businesses make informed decisions, right? So you want to also look at all of those things. Yeah, so those are the skill sets that are needed. Like I said, critical thinking, skill sets, understanding statistics and how they affect business processes, right? Automation, you want to look at that also. SQL, right? Of course, when you're writing your MCDA exam, you ask on SQL or SQL structured query language questions. And so, all of that, right? Also, these are skill sets that are needed. And of course, stakeholder engagement. You need that forward, we have data scientists and AI engineers who use, so the skill sets needed here are MLOps, machine learning operations. Please confirm you can hear me. Please confirm you can hear me, please. Yeah, so that's why I mentioned that the network has been acting up. I don't know why, but please pardon me. Like I said, I'm not connected to my own person. I'm connected to an office Wi-Fi, and so you might just want to observe some of those little quirks. And please pardon me on that. Right? It's our Nigerian system. For those, if there is anybody listening from outside the country, is more or less a typical Nigerian problem. No matter how good the network is, it will always come have some of those cracks. Right. That being said, so I've spoken about database engineer, data analyst, and B/BI analyst. I put all of them together, and then now the data scientist. Data scientist needs to understand SQL, needs to understand Python and machine learning algorithm. Needs to understand how to call up APIs, how to call up LLMs, large language models, how to understand how to write NLPs, NLPs, that's natural language processors or processing, as the case may be. Understand different statistical models and of course machine learning algorithms, how to plug machine learning algorithms to data and all of that. So basically we all understand that data science or data analytics, as the case may be, is basically getting data, applying machine learning algorithms and statistical models to it, and then making business decisions of it. So, there are certifications, like I said, there is the AZ 100 as well, data scientist certification. There's several certifications here and there. I want to believe that one way or the other, you would also, try to find your feet. Like I said, once you get to that roadblock, the easiest way, just like there is this popular saying, this popular cliche, that those that go further or farther fast do so because they ride or stand on the shoulders of those that went before them. That being said, right, quickly get a mentor because you get there faster and quicker, right? I'm also, like said earlier, what we do in my community, we are like data science club. We help people mentor people who are willing to get on things like this, right? So, of course, you can also reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile, Harry Yakubu or Harrison Yakubu, or check any of our social media handles for the businesses that I lead. So thank you so much for this time. I think I want to stop here so that we can begin to get questions and answers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harrison, for that insightful section. We really appreciate.
So are
And
there any questions? The organizers, please help moderate that. Questions, answers,
I
and
want
all
to
of
thank you,
that.
Mr. Harrison. We really appreciate that presentation. Even though it was a very big, tight schedule for you, you were able to find a way to still be here with us this afternoon. So we really appreciate. So please, the room, we have Mr. Harrison just concluding presentations. Do we have any questions for him? Do you have any clarifications? Then let us put our question forward to him. Okay, Mr. Harrison, we have a question, please. It says that Mr. Olalekan Adebayo Abioye said, how can I join your data science club, sir?
All right. So what you might want to do is reach out to the organizers of this program and get my personal detail on WhatsApp. So I'll have to send your details to someone on the team. Someone will reach out to you. Of course, you have to go through a rigorous process. There's a little bit of tests you have to go through, but make sure one thing we ensure that make sure at least you've taken a data science class before, right? Before you can be on our club. At least you've completed maybe a module, a course or something, right? What we do there is to mentor you through. So what we do, we stand basically on two major pillars, right? The first pillar is to ensure that everyone on our platform is gainfully employed either by getting a job or creating a job for themselves. right? And for us to achieve that, we have 3 action points, which is upskilling, which is one thing we ensure that everybody does. So one of the ways we help you to maximize your potential is that when you're done with the course, you come on our platform, we ensure you're also upskilling, and then we help you with visibility and help you or assist you to create a good portfolio, right? Those are the action points: upskilling, visibility, and having a great portfolio. And then the second leg is that the second pillar that we operate by is to ensure that we are burden bearers of each other, which means that we share concerns, problems as regards your advancements in the data space or data science and analytics space, and then of course provide succor and burden bearing opportunities for us, right? So what that means is even when you get a job, you get stuck, you can always come back to the platform to ask guys for help, and then of course well-meaning individuals on the platform, highly skilled and great professionals, right? They'll help you to help actually achieve that. So in order for you to do that, like I said earlier, you have to go through a little bit of rigorous process. Like I said, once you reach out to me on my personal WhatsApp line, right? Like I said, the organizers of this event will actually share that with you. Yeah, one member of the team will reach out to you, and then you pick it up from there. So basically, we ensure that you must be invited by someone in the group, so that before you gain access.
Thank you very much. Olalekan, we can provide that information for you after the session. Please kindly reach out to us and we'll be able to get all the information that you needed.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
sir. I appreciate
Right.
it, sir.
So any other question from the house? Okay. Yeah, for sure. Olalekan, we will send you the recording, and for those that have slides and also the slides for this particular program. Maybe tomorrow, today or tomorrow, you'll be able to receive all this information as well. So thank you very much. We'll do that for you. Any other question to our speakers before we let him go? Do you have any other question from the house? Olalekan, physical office, so we'll get back to you on that as well, so that we can discuss further about our office and our present and more of whatever information that you need as well. Okay, Mr. Harrison, thank you so much. We really appreciate your presentation. We appreciate your time. I want to say very big thank you. The entire team of P4PE want to extend their appreciation for creating time for us this afternoon. So the House will thank all of you for this insightful section that you have been part of. So if you need more information or questions, or you need to get more clarity on anything related to data analytics or data science, please feel free to reach out to us at P4PE. Our office in Lagos is at #2 First Foundation Close at Okwebi, Ikeja, Lagos. So you can also reach us in various mobile. You can visit our website, www.p4p.co, and then raise the tickets, and we'll definitely get back to you on any question that you wish. Again, we want to thank all of you for being part of this session. We have other session again as part of the P4P Summit. We have a couple of questions that are coming on the way. One of them is coming next month, which is Career Success Summit. You can also be part of it. Please look out for this particular program as it will be unfolded in the next few days. So at least as it comes, you please feel free to join. It's also free, just like this Data Analytics Summit. I will have series of them across the year as well. And it will be very lovely for you also if you can dial in and then join in of all these sessions. It will help you to be able to take the proper step or decisions on which career to choose, or whether you want to change career as the case is. As P4P will also have series of other portfolio and solutions that we render for not just the individual, for also organizations. So if you are part of an organization and you feel that there's a few things that you want P4PE to do for you, among the solutions that we have mentioned earlier, feel free to reach out to us as well. We'll be more than happy to guide you and to help you to solve those solutions. And if you want to read any of our speakers, we have their LinkedIn also. Please feel free to just look them up on their LinkedIn page by their name. And you can also they can be able to guide you in areas of data and then data science focus. Having said that, we want to say thank you. And we want now to close our section. If there's no other questions from anyone in the room, and see you again in the next lecture. Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Eric, for still being here, even though the time zone is quite different. We really appreciate that gesture.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Thank you so much. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Ibe Abraham. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much, Olalekan.